Hi, Warpugs. Have you ever just smelled something piping hot right out of the oven and knew you just had to take a bite of it? Well, that's how I feel about this. This is SsethTzeentach. SsethTzeentach. You guys know I suck. This is Quasimorph Review, the Schizo edition. Now, have I ever played Quasimorph? No. And I'm looking right at my cat right now, and she's telling me, no, you haven't. Why are you even talking about this, you deranged psychopath? Reason I'm checking this out because I saw it pop up on my feed, and I knew that you guys would be requesting it, so I'm cutting you off at the pass. We're going to go ahead and take a look at this. Guys, it's Seth. Have I ever seen this game? No. Have I ever seen half the games that he reviews? No. Are we going to enjoy it? You bet your ass. Let's get into it. The Quasimorph review. Boom. Okay, let's go.
Hey, Lactation Nation.
Hey.
Seth here. In the not-so-distant future,
Okay.
man no longer fears the tyranny of a state, as sovereign nations have been abolished. For we found the best form of government.
Okay.
Anarcho-capitalism. Whenever
Yes.
anarcho-capitalism is mentioned to me in conversation, it's usually followed by repealing the age of consent. But in this case, it simply means everything and everyone in this entire solar system is corporate property.
Okay.
Quasimorph is an early access roguelike where you take the role of Magnum PMC, a private military contractor with flexible morality that does work for the highest bidder. The twist
Okay.
is, the world is over, Judgment Day is here, and we're all going to die. And
Well-
we've chosen to profit from the chaos. But first, a word from our sponsor, because I
Okay.
gotta get that bread. Whoops.
Alright.
Sorry, guys. My PC crashed.
Oh,
again.
no.
I
Oh,
had
no.
a single Chrome tab open, so my computer caught fire, burned down my house, and killed my wife's son. Thankfully,
That's a terrible story. What are you going to do to prevent that from happening next time, Seth?
today's video is sponsored by Opera GX.
Oh.
It's no small secret that modern web browsers are massive resource hogs. They
Yes.
always say, just upgrade your rig, bro. But you know what? No. I'm using Opera's GX control feature to limit how much CPU...
Opera GX Kitty. That's how it goes. Guys, my place has been invaded by cats. And they demand attention. You can see the whiskers of one in the camera right now. This cat is demanding so much attention. Come here. Fine. You can watch Seth with me. Are you pleased by this? Are you pleased? Yes? No? Maybe? Cat. Hello? Hello? Okay. Ow! Get back up there. Alright, let's go.
and RAM the browser can use, so I can game uninterrupted no
Nice.
matter how many memory leaks Elon adds to Twitter. Opera GX is extremely moddable. Check out this one that I made. I've heard your cries, your demands. More, Seth. We want more, Seth. Well, now you've got me. With every single keystroke, I'll be there stroking right alongside you. Oh, you don't like that? You just want a themed wallpaper? Opera GX once again has you covered. You can fully customize which features come from which mods. And with a plethora of excellent mods on the store page, your browser can be whatever you want it to be. Check this out. By tweaking the music, keyboard sounds, tab sounds, theme, wallpaper, and custom shader, I've created the ultimate web browsing experience. Music to my ears. Now, I know what you're thinking, Seth. This browser sounds pretty cool and all, but switching browsers is such a pain. Worry
It is.
not. Opera GX has an import tool to quickly download all your settings, history, bookmarks, and passwords in just one click. Use
There
my
you go.
link to download Opera GX today and say goodbye to all those pesky, boring, other browsers.
Do
to
it.
answer the question, what is a quasimorph?
I have no
Sometimes
idea.
the most accurate answer is the schizophrenic one. The setting of
This is true. Sadly enough, it is true.
Quasimorph stems from the esoteric metamythos of Daniil Andreev in his book Rose of a World,
Okay.
which describes Shadanakar, or the systems of parallel worlds connected to Earth. These concepts
There was one thing that I watched. It popped up on my random one day, and I watched it. And in the process of me watching it, in the first 20-30 seconds of the first 4 minutes was this is all scientifically backed. This has all been researched and documented. And you should trust these credentials that we're spouting to you. And the first sentence was, in the beginning, Thoth created blah, 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 blah. I'm just sitting there just listening to it. And we went from one side of the rampage to the completely other side of the rampage without stopping in between to consider how many war crimes we were committing in the process. My brain exploded. I had at least 3 aneurysms. I died. I came back to life, looked at the screen, died again, and then now here I am, a zombie in front of you now. Oh my god, it made Scientology look reasonable.
Centric layers are Brahmafaturas, the superimposition, influence, and overlap of which formulate together to create existence. At least I think so. Quasimorph is an intruder stepping in from another reality. And unfortunately, the veil between worlds is weakest between your chest cavity. Quasimorph is a turn-based survival extraction shooter, or in other words, 2D Escape from Tarkov, except fun. The principle is very simple. We take out a contract and send in one of our agents. If they die, no problem. They're not really any more people than they are proprietary neuro imprints.
Well, there you go.
We license their consciousness, and we bioprint as many replacements necessary for total client satisfaction. You're free to take jobs from any of the major corporations, including the Quasimorphs. We may be locked in an existential war for humanity, but that doesn't stop me from holding stock in Sectland. Rapture is coming, but homie, I got some great dividends. And you start with a favorable reputation. After all, you did help them entrench into this reality. You start a mission by selecting an active contract around the planet or moon you're currently orbiting. This requires you to select a mercenary, a class, and a loadout for the mission, after which
So basically, this is the Expanse, but even more things have gone wrong. Sounds legit. Let's continue.
You're deployed into hostile territory.
Great.
Anyone you see, anything that moves, is kill on sight. An entire mission is 2 to 4 levels. If you change your mind midway and call the shuttle, fuel is expensive, so it's cheaper to let you die. The only way to extract is by completing the objective, which can be espionage, station defense, sabotage, elimination, or conquest. If you die anywhere in between, you lose everything. And I assure you, you're going to be dying a lot. If it's any consolation, I died during the tutorial because I picked up a knife, selected amputate, and clicked on my head. Each deployment, you're on a timer. The more time you spend and the more blood you spill, the higher your level of quasimorphosis. Quasimorphosis measures the probability of ecolapse, where, upon death, the host explodes and a quasimorph phases in. The severity of a situation is described in the bottom right. Somnia, no events. Grasp, occasional ecolapse. Intrusion, music changes, ecolapse and aggression increase. Plenum, spontaneous ecolapse. Alteration, the entire floor is coming. Qmorphose, music changes to its highest intensity, every host in the map explodes. And finally, Rapture. If you want to live, you'll keep this number as low as possible. Naturally, there's only a few ways to do this. Drinking vodka, smoking Newports, and injecting morphine. Each time you move, you consume calories. At higher weights, this is 9 calories per step. This is what Americans really believe. And to avoid starvation, we need a steady...
No. I remember the days in Young Gone Past when they were talking about calorie counting and all this other kind of stuff. And you would sit there and try to go shopping and just have people staring at nutritional facts on the side of snacks like they were going to give them the secrets to the universe. It's like, stop it. Just stop it.
Supply of slop. But when the food runs out, I want you to consider alternative sources.
Yes.
When I consume my enemies, is it really cannibalism? For that implies I considered them human to begin with. Unfortunately, human flesh will raise your quasimorphosis. You delay one death and accelerate another. However, if you find a crafting bench and an empty tin, you can turn that long pig into gourmet dinner, which will no longer cause quasimorphosis. The implication being...
Modern problems require modern solutions, Warpugs.
that it's not about devouring your fellow man, it's about table manners.
True.
Disclaimer, they patched the canned meat. It's
That
so
sucks.
over. On the other hand, they improved the crafting bench so much you have no idea. We are so back. In general, the crafting bench will save a lot of your early game runs.
Okay.
And don't sleep on it. Improvised toilet grenades clear rooms, makeshift batteries power autodocs and floor scanners.
Okay.
Completing a mission gives rewards, but more importantly, reputation. You can land at any corporate asset so long as it's friendly and exchange goods for equipment. And if you're completely broke but friendly with Techland, you can even exchange yourself by amputating your own limbs.
There
This
you
is
go.
not a joke. It's a completely valid strategy to potato peel your digits, offer them at the Fevered Temple, regenerate your limbs on the ship, and do it all over again.
There you go. Corporate profits must come at all costs.
It's not efficient, but we can no longer exploit blood bag synthesis. They caught on to us, boys. It was good while it lasted. Speaking of which, the Magnum can fabricate almost everything, so long as you have the proprietary item chip. These are effectively a perpetual license, and are so incredibly valuable that finding one during a mission is a valid reason for evacuation. There's also class and mind chips, which unlock classes and mercenaries respectively. If you mouse over a chip and you see the words data miner, you've officially hit the jackpot. You
There
can
you
do
go.
whatever you want, but remember, your actions have consequences. Supporting a corporation will accelerate their growth and technology. If you want top shelf gear, great. But if you turn against them in the future, you're not going to be facing wage slaves and general managers. You'll be facing rival PMCs and
That's
their own
bad.
special forces. So I encourage you, pick a side, any side, and stick to it. There's a lot
Okay.
of minor corporations, but for the sake of time, here's the big players. SBN, social media monopoly. They own Twitter, the best energy rifles, and the lightest armor.
There you go.
RealWare, industrial mega manufacturer. Carnage Pattern is objectively the coolest armor, and they produce the highest RPM ballistics. Ancom, entertainment and research conglomerate. They
I'm wondering if Razor's going to be in here.
make the most versatile armor, the best snipers, and the experimental HFC. This game's equivalent of Doom's BFG, Testlan, Quasimorphs from Venus that'll make you rage quit at least several times. Everything is Aztec, from the design to the desire for human organs.
Okay.
And finally, the civil resistance. These are terrorists that hope to bring about something even worse than Judgment Day. A return to national sovereignty.
There you go.
They intentionally hive mind themselves into a cluster of consciousness known as a call node. In effect, they have achieved working communism.
Okay.
Anyway, you understand the politics of our PMC. Let's return to the actual mechanics.
Okay.
It's very tempting to finish the tutorial and go straight to the moon. Somehow, I avoided this so I didn't get filtered by a wheelchair. Quasimorphosis is unique to each planet because they're subject to the influence of a different Brahmfatura. Venus, Ganix. Mercury, Shartamacum. And the Earth's moon, Duger. Mars and its moons
I'm sorry, what the hell?
have absentia, which means there is no quasimorphosis. So, if you're starting off, I recommend Mars. If you're learning, try Mercury and Venus. And if you know what you're doing, go to the moon. That doesn't mean any single location is safe, and death is around every corner.
Yay!
Most common cause of death? Flamethrowers. Not in the hands of enemies, but myself. An entire run gone in a flash because some unpaid worker amputated your neck with a circular saw. I assumed the weapon was busted, so I tried it myself. In a straight line, where it ricocheted and cut my legs clean off. When you take damage, you get
Sometimes things are worth it for science. I'm just saying, sometimes it's worth it for the sheer science of what you're about to be. You got to do it for science.
injuries, which have to be treated, or they get infected. And if there's no antibiotics on hand, well, it has to go. Second,
does.
the most common cause of getting filtered, pain shock. If you take too much damage too quickly, you get stunned and lose a turn. Both
Okay.
systems are universal. If you shoot something hard enough, they'll get stunned from a shock. If you cause injury, you can run away as they bleed to death. And if
Lovely.
you amputate a critical organ, they might just die instantaneously. The number of action points you can take per turn is based on your move setting. At any time, you can switch between sneak, normal, and run. Sneak is one action point, but can detect the position of nearby enemies, use your inventory, and interact with nearby objects at no cost.
There you
Normal
go.
is 2 action points, and run is free. However, while running, you can't open your inventory and take a severe penalty to your accuracy. Peak performance requires that you abuse the system. Opening a door, switch to sneak, see enemies, switch to normal, and toss a grenade, before switching back and locking it on the same turn. A lot of players have a tendency to go autopilot in sneak mode and just die without explanation. What
That's
usually
sad.
happens is they turn a sharp corner, get their shit blasted in, but because they have a single action point, they go into pain shock, which rolls over to the next turn, where they get shot again and repeat the process until they die.
Sometimes repetition is not exactly a good thing.
The whole point of running is to face check. Understand your tools, and you'll find this to be a very satisfying tactical experience. I used to have complaints about this game, but after so many hours, I can tell you, if
There
you
you
die,
go.
it's a skill issue. I have a brain parasite, and it forces me to play this game at 2 times speed with cheat engine. That's a personal choice. I also use a macro to amputate every corpse. After 100 hours playtime, that's a necessity. Classes work like a perk system, and each mercenary has an intrinsic perk. This unique ability combines with your class of choice to create vastly different playstyles.
Okay.
For example, Percy comes with +5 to all resistance.
Great.
Outfitted with full carnage pattern, he's the only person in the game that can set himself on fire and not take damage. And after putting him in
Percy doesn't have to care. At all. About anything.
Phoenix Brigade, I can shoot a single round of incendiary ammunition and burn down half the map. In
There you
general,
go.
you should pick a mercenary that suits your playstyle. Do you want to feast on human flesh? Play Isabella, because she's immune to infection. Even
Okay.
better, put her as Eclipse Blades and turn your cannibalism into a one-hit kill. Are you
There you
tired
go.
of getting stun-locked? Try Maximilian, because he doesn't feel pain. Would you like a slower pace? Play Mirza, because her caloric needs are 40% of everyone else. Are you tired of scraping by? Would you like to quadruple everyone's inventory
Let's
to the
do it.
point where every enemy contains 2 flavors of ramen and a pack of Lucky Strikes? Play
That's economical, especially in this economy. I can only imagine what inflation is like here.
Tunnel Rats and experience the greatest whiplash in difficulty, as everything that doesn't die to your shotgun gets knocked back into the void of space.
Lovely.
I've discussed builds. Let's talk about guns, because there's a lot of them.
Oof.
If you want to kill enemies, you need to beat their resistance, and the type of damage you do is based on the ammunition. Flamethrowers and energy rifles cook organics, but have no effect on cyborgs. In contrast, the buckshot of a shotgun will cut them to pieces. Most armor stops the blunt impact of a 9mm, but a 7.97 from an assault rifle will pierce right through. Quasimorphic weapons deal cold. Even if you're fully equipped, the full burst of a serpent's mouth will send you straight back to the menu. And
There you go.
poison was previously neglected, now it's a complete menace. Also, there's turrets. They're incredibly useful for defense missions, and because an enemy ran right up to your face, shooting you in the crossfire. And finally, you might be
Ow.
asking yourself, what's that little icon on the bottom right?
Skull Project, let's go.
Don't worry about it. Anyways, I forgot how to structure this video. So in conclusion, I give this game a self-inflicted out of 10. It's amazing. I know it's early access, but there's a lot of content already, and you can
Okay.
easily sink 80 hours on just the main gameplay loop. There's an impressive roadmap and features to come that I cannot disclose at this time because I promised I wouldn't tell. As always, more content to come next year because I gotta see my family. Merry Christmas! A warm
Merry
thanks to the
Christmas.
many members of the Merchants Guild generously funding and bankrolling these videos consistently for several years. You're all truly wonderful, and you give me more than I deserve. And you won't stop asking me to take your money, so I will. In exchange, enjoy the outro.
All right. Oh my god. Let's see. Ah, hold on a second. Looks like we have something. There you go.
If you're interested, there's a 20% sale on GOG. A special thanks to the autistic Japanese man who tailored me this Mibeke suit. If you're interested in anything from a Democratic Republic of Congo military suit to a BDSM outfit, I've linked his Patreon in the description below. By the way, in case you're wondering, what's the most expensive part of this suit? It's the snake skin. Have a merry 2024, and I'll see you all next year.
All right.
Hey.
So, what did we learn? Well, amputation is next to godliness. That's the first thing I learned. Amputation leads to enlightenment, leads to nirvana. Secondly, war crimes and good times once again go hand in hand because they rhyme. War pugs. At what point are we going to stop the madness and admit to ourselves that we're all just a little bit messed up based off the games we play? I know I am. What am I talking about? I'm still addicted to Foxhole. I'm addicted to making mortars in Foxhole. Somebody help. Send help. At least it got me off of League. I actually tried playing League the other day and I was really, really, really annoyingly bored the entire game, which normally doesn't happen. Normally I'm excited and then I get angry and then I want to commit homicide. Didn't happen this time. I was just bored. I ended the game 12-2, and I was bored. Warpugs, I'm going to head out from here. Seth always delivers the highest quality in baked goods. And so, at this point, I would like you all to sit back and think about all the wonderful memories we've had with Seth over 2023, because you guys introduced me to him this year. And I know that there's like 7 requests for him right now, somewhere in the myriad lost labyrinth of my recommended feed. But until 2024, we will not be seeing Seth. That's right, Cat. We will not be seeing Seth. Warpugs, thank you for joining me. I hit 20,000 subscribers, and we're still going strong. Eventually, I hope to be getting back to the lore channel. I'm starting to get that urge again. And there's something waiting for me there's something already waiting for me in the editor that just waiting for me to open it up and start doing stuff again. I'm starting to get that urge. It feels good. Warpugs, I'm going to head out from here. Check the description down below for all of Seth's links. Check the search folder for my links, including to my merch, which is going to get updated. I got a whole new store that I've been working with. We're going to get into that. And until then, I'll catch you guys next time.